The trustees meeting with starting off with roll call. Bob DeToma,
Here.
Holly,
Here.
Lucas,
Here.
Andy,
Here.
and Bob. Can you hear Andy fine?
Yeah, I can. Just remember, if we take a vote on anything, you'll have to take a roll call vote.
Yep. Andy is having some computer problems, so we have him on the phone next to my computer. Sean has said that he may not make it tonight, and so we will push the reorganization until we're able to have him on as well. So we'll push that to the next meeting. So the first thing on our agenda is the approval of previous minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read those? Are there any updates or anything that people want to make before we vote?
Was that the meeting from 15th of June?
Yes.
Okay.
Hearing no updates, we will do a roll call vote to accept the previous minutes as written. Bob?
I'll move to accept the minutes as written.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Aye.
Lucas, second. So we'll do roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Molly?
Aye.
Lucas?
Aye.
Andy?
Tentative aye. If I can say two words before you get to the next guy. Looking at this, it says discussion. It doesn't say anything about who's discussing exactly what. Okay, it's very short notes.
So that was the town. Bob, can you refresh my memory? I know we talked about this during the last meeting, but our minutes, that's really all that we have to put in, correct? There was something with the town.
By law, as far as I understand it, all we have to record is details on votes. The town doesn't require us to file a Bible every time we meet. So discussion is sufficient. But in the minutes for this meeting, for example, we could put the notation that member Andy has asked for a little bit more detail.
Okay. Andy, were you able to catch all that?
Yeah, I got most of that.
Okay.
Okay, I was just questioning a little bit because I was secretary of and president of the other group for about 3 years, and they wanted very detailed notes. So this is good for whoever has to file these damn things.
I know.
I mean, it's insane. We had to be on a microphone at sometimes. What do you call it, recorder? So that we could get all of the stuff in. I'll show you some of my notes that I had to turn in a few years ago.
Oh.
So I think this way is so much easier. I will say aye.
Okay, so Andy is an aye and Justin is an aye. So the minutes are approved as written.
Real quick, did Daryl Roberts come in for this meeting?
No, he did not.
Okay.
All right. So next meeting, next item on our agenda is Sampson Square. There is an attachment of the where we went and we're talking with Paul and the crew that would be moving it, where we wanted it, where the flagpole wanted it. I will say that the VFW. Carmen was out there with us, but the VFW was not represented. So they came back and said that they wanted to go out and have a say. Bob, did Paul ever tell you what they came up with, or?
No, I didn't get a result on the follow-up meeting that they held, but guessing by what the discussion was on the telephone that stone was going to be turned to face a different direction.
Yeah, the main thing, it wasn't so much the placement, it was which way the plaque faced. So right now, we have the plaque facing towards the sidewalk. You can see that little arrow there, and that's where we had agreed that the plaque should face. The VFW wanted the plaque facing the opposite direction.
Probably toward Main Street.
Yep.
So, unfortunately, neither Bob or I, it was a last minute thing and neither one of us could make it. So the stone looks like it's going to be placed in the same spot. I'll see if I can get some more information on it if they did.
I have to attend the department head meeting tomorrow morning, so I can ask Paul if he's in attendance.
That works.
Now the M is the stone. The thing with the circle around it and the little circle in the middle, is that the flagpole
Yes.
on the point?
Yeah.
What's the orange spot in the middle?
I'm not seeing an orange spot. I only see you have the blue M, which is the memorial, and then the yellow flagpole behind the memorial.
Okay, yellow flagpole.
Yeah.
But there's a certain. Oh, it must be the cannon up in front.
Oh yes, the cannon is off to the left of the flagpole. It's
Okay.
the big circle with little circles around it.
Okay. All right. So everything that we need is in that one plot. There's nothing on the other side of the road.
No.
All right. Yeah, that'll work, I suppose.
And where the arrow is pointing, that's a major sidewalk now, a pretty big walk lane. On the other side of it is a parking lot. So what we were basically trying to do with where the plaque was, as you're parking there and you're walking up, or as you're walking by on that sidewalk, you can actually stop and read the plaque. So we'll have to find out what the VFW came up with.
Justin, have you ever attended Memorial Day service at Sampson Square?
No, not at Sampson Square, but Carmen wanted the plaque facing that way because it would have made that service very easy.
Yep.
So
I can see the thought from VFW though, with regard to having the arrow, the face of the stone coming towards Main Street, because they have to bring. What is the distance where that little arrow is between the front of the stone and the sidewalk?
I think it was like 4 feet.
Okay. The reason I'm questioning here is when they line up for Memorial Day at Sampson Square, they put wreaths in front of the names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the rest of the parade is on the inside of the monument area, not on the sidewalk. The ones that would be on the sidewalk is the firing squad, the rifle team, and the rest of the parade is on the inside facing the stone. So if the stone is facing toward the sidewalk in the back, there won't be anybody veterans to see the front of it.
Now, Carmen was talking about putting everybody in the parking lot.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was saying that would be better, and then we would have better shots of the pictures. I think he wanted the veterans. Well, actually, I take that back. I think he wanted the veterans behind the stone. There was plenty of grass there. The audience and everybody that could gather would be in the parking lot. Okay. And they would have it would work out better that way for him, is what he was saying, than having it the opposite way, where you've got people potentially like going out into the street and stuff. Yeah,
well, that's probably. I mean, in recent years, they would come up to the left of the flagpole, and at the point there, and everybody would line up on this side, on the Main Street side. Toward the monument, but this could work better.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure out which way they're going to do, and they're going to go about it. And
the turning of the stone is relatively easy. I mean, it's heavy and it's round, and it does move relatively easy.
Yeah.
So if they decide to turn it the other way, everything else works fine.
Okay.
Okay.
The next item dealing with Sampson Square is we had talked about while we were out there with Carmen doing a rededication of it. So once they put the stone back out, and Carmen Bob and I were talking about, do you do it around Memorial Day, before or after? So I think that if this is something that we want to do, we can work with the VFW and we can work with the Legion to do a rededication once all of the construction is finished and the stone is back in place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And just for the notes, Sean joined us on Zoom. So, how does everybody else think? Holly, Lucas, Sean, what do y'all think of a rededication?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Concur. I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
Are we talking Sampson Square?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that's a great idea.
Okay. So, I'd like to get somebody to plan this. So our next meeting, which is going to be next month, we are doing a quarterly schedule. Unfortunately, with how all the problems we had doing this meeting, I'm trying to keep us on the quarterly schedule for them. So the next one of these meetings will be next month. I'd like to get somebody to plan it. So if somebody wants to volunteer to work with Carmen and the VFW, then we can start getting that planned out and deconflicted from the Memorial Day parade.
So can you back up a little bit?
I want to
So,
finish other stuff before I take on any more.
Yeah, no worries, Andy. You've got a lot going on with this. So, Sean, what did you have? Sorry, Andy is having problems, Sean, just to let you know. So he's on my phone on the computer.
Okay. So just a quick refresh. So planning the rededication prior to Memorial Day?
Whatever makes most sense.
Okay.
If the weather is going to be bad, if it's going to be too cold, and it would be better maybe after Memorial Day, I'm good with that. I think really the timing there has to do with when the VFW and the Legion want to do it around Memorial Day.
Hmm.
It's when they can put all of the staff that they need to do the rededication together.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice for we set date whatever, but I can't speak for them, and I don't think you can either.
No.
So after we spoke to Carmen and Stan, and have them talk to their people and find out what day or date they can put all their people together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I plan on.
I mean, you want to rededicate it, but you want some veterans there too, I think.
Yeah. So what I plan on doing is, next meeting we'll determine who's going to run that for us, and then have them reach out, and we'll bring Stan and Carmen into this meeting. We'll kind of be the point people as far as planning it, but we'll work with those two to see if we can get some people there. I do know the Legion and VFW are struggling with getting volunteers. Bob, you have a question?
Yeah, if we're going to invite Carmen and Stash to our meeting, they're going to have to be in person for this. I don't think we're going to get either one of them on Zoom.
Yeah, that's fine. And I mean, we're going to test out the in-person thing Thursday to see how that works for everybody. So we'll have that down. All right. So next, Vietnam plat quotes. Andy, you just gave us a rundown on that. You've submitted the quotes. You've submitted for the quotes. You've submitted for 4. One company has already got back with you. So
yeah, I've got.
I think we're good there.
I finished vetting the list, getting all the duplicates out, and making sure that we had DD 214 for most of the people. Some that we did not have, and I don't think we're ever going to get, are 93 that were on the original plaque.
Yep.
We don't have any documentation on them. Jeff was just spent the afternoon. I think he did 15. He looked at 15. He's got 5 that actually have documentation to say they were Vietnam vets, Vietnam era vets, and he hasn't worked on the rest of the list yet. So we're down to 187. That's 5 columns of 35 that matches the original plaque. And the original plaque had 33 on column 6. We have 12. So we still have 6 columns. It's going to be the same size basically as the first plaque. It's going to look primarily equal or as close to as it can get. It doesn't want to be better than nor worse than. I don't need aggravation from anybody on that list that is not happy with what it looks around their name.
Yeah.
Their name is on it. Okay. But there is room on that column 6. If we find additional names, I would put them on the bottom of column 6, but they just cannot be interspaced with in a proper position, alpha sequence.
Yeah.
That'd be massive moving stuff around us to do that.
Yeah. No, that I'm not worried about that. If it's just, if like you said, if we find more names, then we have space for them. So
everything, Justin, will come back to you, and you determine. You want to have our committee vet this thing. You want to have the town administrator decide. We have a budget, but the one I've got back now is like 9,000, which we got a budget of 2,000. It's far over what we can contribute to. But that grant, if we get the grant, it should pay at least half. That'll be 4,500 plus or minus. When we get the rest of the quotes, then we'll have a better idea.
yeah, once we get the quotes, Bob and I can approach the town about funding, and we can go that route. I'm not too worried about it.
In the meantime, just sent me the grant application itself. I'll fill it all out and get it ready to just drop in that cost figure. And I plan to overnight it to Boston. Somebody's going to have to give me like $350 for postage or something like that to overnight to Boston on no later than the 27th to make sure it's in Boston for the 29th.
Yeah. Okay.
And we should have an answer before November. That's notorious. They're very quick once they close it. Then they work on it, and everybody's generally notified before Thanksgiving.
Oh, that would be great.
Then we can go ahead with Evan and whatever he can come up with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions on the Vietnam plaque? Sorry, I'm kind of breezing through. I'm going kind of fast with the agenda. I know I'm just, we had so much trouble with people logging in that trying to be mindful of everybody's time. So any questions on the Vietnam plaques? Sean?
Quick, would CPC funds be something that the town might entertain spending on this?
Potentially. Evan and William are all about moving funds around. They've supported us with various things. So
I know CPC wouldn't do anything with the flagpoles, so I'm not sure that they will with this, but it's worth a shot anyway.
yeah, that's why I just go to Evan. he does it.
He's got a spot fund someplace. Every town administrator does.
He does. The next thing on the agenda, and Andy, you already mentioned this, the Gold Star family plaque. You haven't, it hasn't been worked yet. That's completely understandable. I'm putting a lot of this stuff on the agenda just so we can make sure that we're keeping track of it, because there's a lot of this.
I found a book in my notes from searching for veterans in the cemeteries, and it is specifically set up for Gold Star mothers. So what my research for that would be to see who the sons are that died in battle, etc. Backtrack to who the parents are in the write-up, and then try to determine if they're buried in Grafton cemeteries. Now, if they're buried in Grafton cemeteries, there is a gold star, albeit plastic marker that would go on the grave. Okay, to indicate Gold Star mother. But what I would do is if we don't have too many of them, okay, then, and some of these, Gold Star Mothers are in cemeteries one town out away from Grafton. I would consider marking them as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Okay.
something we would just need to reach out to the other town and work with. I would think if they
Right.
have a committee.
Tell them that they have a Gold Star Mother and see if they'll mark them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions on that? All right. Next item is the flagpoles. So Daryl told me about a month ago that he was going to go order the 2 flagpoles. We sorted out the money. They were going to come with an American flag, and we were working the Native American flag. I've been trying to confirm with Daryl if he actually bought those flagpoles, but he hasn't responded back. So I asked Bob to,
He's gone up to see the guy 4 times.
yeah.
I asked him to get me some GAR markers, and he said while he was up there trying to get the flagpole situation ordered, that he would see if he could get me some GAR markers for Civil War.
Mhm.
He was not able to find the guy in. He's been up there 4 times, and 4 times the guy doesn't post his working hours, so Darrell has to go up during his working hours and try to find the guy.
Okay.
Now the other guy was there all the time, but he sold the place.
Yeah.
They're under a different owner. He had 2 30-foot flagpoles with the first owner, and I think what he's talking about, he's possibly got 2 25, but he's not. It's not a guaranteed deal. You can't find the guy to make the final commitment.
Right. But that's about par for the course is how it's been going lately.
Johnny.
A lot of this. So so Andy from the select board, he received the image from the Native American tribe, and there was a problem with the graphic. Andy, I guess, dabbles in graphic design. He was able to fix the problem as of today and got approval to use his fix. So we've got that sorted out as well. So really it's purchasing the flagpole and getting the flags. Everything has been approved. That's all that we need to do on that.
And installation would be from the town, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. So we'll continue to stay on top of them with that. Any questions on the flagpoles? Next up is we had mentioned in the past about doing a plaque for Jim Gallagher and all the stuff he's done with veterans. It was just kind of an idea that we had talked about in the past. Did we ever? Can't remember. Sean, did we ever reach out to his family? I know we reached out about the memorial walk event, and they agreed. Did we talk to them about a plaque?
I believe I mentioned, I don't know about the plaque specifically, but we were talking about the flagpole at the cemetery and something on the base possibly. So if that's what you mean by a plaque, I did mention it, but it's been a while.
Okay.
I think, Justin, we talked about the plaque for Jimmy, but that it possibly shouldn't come from us. It should come from the veterans.
Yeah.
Was that part of our conversation? It rings a bell somewhere there.
I think so. We were talking about trying to raise some funds for it. Maybe talking to the VFW and the Legion about it to see if they had some funds to put it up. I remember we kind of talked about the flagpoles, but I don't know if that's a good spot for it. So maybe this is something. I think we need to dig a little bit deeper and to kind of think through this, and maybe this is something else that we work with Carmen and Stan on.
I had an idea, and I want to bounce as far as the location is concerned. The one at the old cemetery, no one's really going to see it unless they walk through the old cemetery.
Right.
There is a flagpole that the VFW, that the American Legion has, right down at almost across from the ice cream shop there on Woodson Street.
Yeah.
could we put a little stone obelisk there or something with Jimmy's name on it?
That sounds like yeah, I think that would be
I
awesome.
mean, a lot of, and you'll see it every time you either go up Worcester Street or you go over to the right to go south. It'll be right in that triangle there. It sounds like people will see it. Put it that way.
Bob, you have a comment?
To the best of my knowledge, Jim was a Little League coach for a number of years. And I was thinking that maybe we could find out how to get a plaque memorial stone maybe put down at the Little League field.
That would be a good spot too. Yeah, that's where he was too. Okay. So I think we've got two great locations. Sean, would you mind just keeping track of this for me, this conversation for me? Because I think the next step would be we need to bring in Stan and Carmen, and we can talk to them about this while we talk about the rededication and see what their thoughts are, and if they had some money. And I think if we could determine how much money we're willing to kind of pull together on this, that'll determine whether it's just a plaque or if we can do like an obelisk, Andy, like you suggested. We can, and then I think the location would be. I like both of them. You know, if he was a Little League coach for a long time, though, that would be kind of cool too. If people grew up with him as their Little League coach and they go out there with their kids and they can see him. Bob?
And then I just had another idea. If we struck out,
hang on, Andy, 1 second.
Yeah.
If we struck out with at a flagpole location or a town property, if we struck out at the Little League field, we could mount something at the TV studio outside.
Yeah. Okay. Andy, you had something?
Yeah. Long day.
They say your memory is the first thing to go. I can't remember the second.
I can't remember what the second is.
All right. Any questions? Oh, Sean?
You mentioned I'll butcher the word oblique, a stone. I know when you drive through Worcester, there's a lot of places that have a stone, and it says like they name it after a person. So maybe if we can get that triangle near Lake Ripple, under that flagpole, we put a stone there and call it Gallagher Square.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a great idea.
That is a great idea too.
That is a great idea. And what you do, you put the monument, put a little flagpole with it or whatever, and that's what they do in the city. Every little square becomes a veteran square or a bridge or a road or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great idea.
So I think once again let's choose somebody that's willing to take this on that has some time. This is easy to. These things are easy to talk to the town about. So Bob and I can go in front of Evan once we have an idea. It's really just kind of getting those ideas together that we'll need somebody to run with. So, Sean?
I don't want to say his name on air and lock him in. But anyway, you met one of the veterans, an Air Force guy that did a lot on with the cemeteries and getting the flags and the wreath bearers for Memorial Day. So I'm going to reach out to him, and I think he might be willing to run with this. Help us run with that. So I'll get back to you on that one. So for our next meeting, we can flesh this out a little bit more.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions on this idea? Right. Next topic is, so Sean, after the last Memorial Day parade, you and I talked about wreaths for the Memorial Day parade. and that the wreaths that the Legion was putting out maybe needed to be updated or upgraded. Do you want to fill everybody else in on that, please?
Well, the initial conversation was started because the wreaths that I did see were yes, they were in showing their age. Let's put it that way. Just prior to the parade, we were able to locate some that were in good shape. However, we didn't have enough for every memorial, so we were carrying them with us. So that is something we do need to look into trying to buy enough so that they can be placed at each memorial and not have to be moved around town.
Okay. So my question to kick off this discussion is that if initially I have no problems putting it to a vote as far as spending our money. Is that the right thing to do? Because if we bought them, then they would belong to the town, but we would be loaning them out. And I don't know if the town has any rules on any of that stuff. Is that the right thing to do? Is that the right process to go through this?
Unless we bought them and donated them.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was.
Most of the time, post 92, it plans the parade.
Yep.
The things that happen after Memorial Day at each post, the things that happen at Veterans Day after each post. But as far as the wreaths are concerned, most of the equipment that we put on the street is for veterans. We put the rifle squad, etc., the special uniforms, the flag carriers, all that other stuff that goes into the parade. Should be in one place, and that's at post 92.
Yeah.
So we could buy it and give them those wreaths. If we bought them, would we have a place to put them, or would we just give them to post 92 and let them put it with everything else Memorial Day related?
And that's just that's the logistics that I want to make sure that we understand. So I said I have no problems spending money, and this is a good cause. I just want to make sure that we're doing everything correctly before we agree.
Now, I'm not too close to that anymore. The parade, because I can't walk and participate in the parade itself. As far as placing the wreaths, are they real flowers?
Negative.
So realistically, we're looking at how many bunches, because there is placement at excuse me, at least 4, maybe 5 places that I can think of where we pick them up, take them up, put them on the bus, bring them with us, put them back down, and people that go to Sampson Square. They put the flowers on the 5 or 6, maybe 7 holders around the flagpole. The parade hops onto the parade, and then 2 guys go running back, grab all the wreaths for the next stop. How many sets would we have to make, and how many spares would we have to make in case one of them gets smushed?
And that's some of the questions that I have is. Are we just replacing some, or are we looking to replace all? Do we want enough to where the wreaths can get left out over Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of questions with that.
And people that do come out for, like Sampson Square, there's maybe 40, 50 people there. They don't, they place wreaths at the, World War I, World War II, and Korean and Vietnam monuments at the Common. So they have more than 7, obviously, if they're going to place all of those at one time. Okay? So are we replacing all of them? Or you're going to give them additional ones? Have the same people that made up theirs that they have now, make up so they all look alike.
Yeah.
They're all interchangeable. If something happened, we needed one, we grab it from someplace else.
Sean, you had a comment?
Going back in my notes in May, minimum 34 wreaths. There are, sorry, well, six locations minimum and 6 flags per. So you're looking at, 34, 36. They are a little bit pricey. Even the fact that they have artificial flowers and a styrofoam back. I would possibly suggest that if we're going to do this, we phase it in so that we're not trying to spend, or not trying to spend. If we don't have enough money to buy 34 to 70 wreaths all at one shot, we phase it in and buy X number per year type of thing.
Bob?
Is this a discussion topic that we would be putting on the agenda for future meetings? Because we're discussing wreaths that we don't even have in our possession yet.
Yeah.
Nor do we have the funds to purchase them. So to my mind, we should be focusing on where's the money going to come from before we worry about how we're going to handle them. So
Yeah.
I would propose that we just push this off till next month or the month after until we kind of get these pieces to the puzzle, that we can all wrap our head around.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to suggest. It's good to say 34 wreaths, 6 locations. Sean, do you know how much they were?
Oh, shoot. I want to say close to like $50 a shot.
Okay.
But I agree with Bob. I think we should, if we're going to have a joint meeting with the Carmen and Stan, then maybe we put this on that agenda and we try to, because as you just said, they're the guys that are going to be, they'll know more about it and they're going to be definitely involved in it.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to suggest, is that we put this one on hold until we sit down with them. We talk through it with them. They may already have a plan to replace it too. So, but I did want to get it out there and kind of talk through some of these logistics. And then the funding piece too, Bob, I think that's important that we understand. If we purchase them, can we donate them? Does something have to happen to do that? And all that stuff, just to make sure the paperwork is done.
Right, because if we have $2,000 allotted to us, we can blow that in an evening.
Yeah.
And then what do we do for the rest of the year? Do we decide, well, that's our project for the year, we're not going to spend any more money? Or do we have worthwhile projects that we have to go and figure out, are we going to find somebody that will make a gift to the town? Are we going to find a way to get a grant? So I would prefer to know where the money's coming from before we dive into any of these projects.
But yeah, and things like this, in my mind, are the things that you hold on until the end of the year. And okay, we have money that we need to spend.
Yeah, and you don't want to turn any money back because they'll cut your budget by
Right.
that much following year.
So, you have money that you need to spend, then this is what, hey, we've got these wreaths, we want to go buy some. So we go and buy it. So, yeah, so we'll put this on hold. Are there any questions on this one? All right. Last item, we went through this during the last VAC meeting, but I did want to also bring it up during trustees. Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk briefly about the decorum.
So was there anybody that didn't attend the last veterans meeting in this group?
Just Lucas.
Okay, so the quick and easy description of decorum is that all discussion, conversation, everything has to flow through the chairman, and that extends out to the town of Grafton. So in other words, anything that we have an idea, any proposal, any requests for funds has to go through the chair, who then brings it up the chain of command to the town. Department heads in town don't want to hear from individual members. They prefer to hear about projects um, from chairman of committees. So that's the quick and easy stuff. And then of course, the other part of it is that the way we conduct ourselves in the course of the meeting, when we're all in attendance in person, or if we're all attending the meeting via Zoom like we're doing tonight, it's important that we are just respectful of each other's chance to take the floor and to talk about something, so that our clerk, who's currently Sean, can take accurate minutes. So if we're stepping over each other and interrupting each other, it makes Sean's job much more difficult than it should be. So in a nutshell, that's the point.
Understood.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Lucas.
I said understood.
And then the last thing that I've added onto it is, so Bob is going to start sending out the agendas for me, because I had some issues. I missed an agenda not getting posted, which delayed a meeting because the clerks didn't get my email. So Bob is going to take that on for me, and just let us know. We try to send out the agendas a week in advance, the initial one, and then we'll send out the one with the actual links, or the in-person, because we're going to try to move to in-person meetings. So Thursday's meeting will be in person at the GCTV conference room. But let us know if you're not going to make it. I'll get to you in 1 second, Lucas. Let us know if you're not going to make it, because we had to cancel one of the last trustees meetings because we didn't have a quorum. So if we're going to go to quarterly with this meeting, it gets really hard to. You've seen what happens. This one got pushed like 3 months because of it. So if you're not going to make it, you don't think you're going to make it, or something comes up, just let us know, and then I might just reschedule the meeting if we're not going to have a quorum. Lucas, you had a question?
So I will not be able to make the Thursday meeting. My kids have their meet the teacher in Uxbridge.
Yeah.
And it's at 6 to 8. So
Okay, no worries. And one of the things that we're going to try to do with the GCTV in-person meetings is we're trying to find a way where we can do hybrid. So there is a call in if needed. The problem is there's only a couple of rooms at the town hall that can support that, and they're usually always booked. So we're utilizing Bob's conference room, and we kind of did some tests that seemed to work okay, but more to come. Any questions on decorum?
Sure.
All right. Before we do the motion, anything else that needs to get added to next month's agenda? Any items that we didn't cover?
Not to have the last word, but those cards that I made up for all the veterans, they have a couple of cards and some instructions so they can carry it in their wallets in case they go to emergency room and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I did some research. I talked to a couple of people up at Staples. I've been buying these things at $5.42 per 100 and typing them up myself and incurring a little bit of expense. But I found that Staples will make up 1,000 of these things for $39, which includes stock. So I'd probably be looking for a little tiny bit of funding to produce some of these things, so that we have them on hand at the Veterans Agent. We'll have them on hand at both of the posts.
Okay.
And mainly to realize that each time you use the card, you throw it away, and you go find 2 more cards, because you want to be protected for the next time if you have a next time.
Yep.
Okay.
I've already been thinking about that, Andy, but I want to move that discussion to the VAC meeting.
I moved it. I did approach the community care people at Northampton and at Jamaica Plain VA Medical Center and at West Roxbury. They like the idea, and I think that VA may adopt it and do it for us.
Okay. Well, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, it would, because then it becomes worldwide, and maybe we get a little pat on the back for doing it.
Yeah.
I don't care, but I mean, as long as we don't have to make up the cards for the world, you know.
Yep. Sean, you had a comment?
No, I was simply going to say, prior to the last thing you just said, this may be something we have to put on, have listed on the agenda, and to, obviously, we're going to spend money, we have to vote on it.
Yep.
That's all.
Correct.
All right. With that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. I already made one, so
You did. Can I get a second?
Second.
Got a second. So roll call vote, motion to adjourn. Andy?
All set.
Bob?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Motion.
aye.
Molly?
I.
Lucas?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.